Welcome to the Grown Up Group. This is a podcast of regular people tackling the world from a Black perspective. In today's segment, we're going to be discussing survival and 10 things to bring if you were trapped on an island. I'm actually Ty. I'm here with Kira, Jazz, and Joe will be joining the segment a little bit later. So let's delve into this. So, our ladies, I want to tell you, this started off as a joke to me because someone said, if you put black people on, trap black people somewhere, they wouldn't know how to get out. They don't have any survival skills. And I'm like, you'd be amazed. A lot of us do know our way around because we live in situations in areas where we have been, shortened or may not have something. So we have to find a workaround. And I got to tell you, my water went off, previously when some other homeowner and I was just renting it. The water went off
Mhm.
and the kids were sitting there panicking because they're Gen Zers. They had no idea what to do. But me, I have flashbacks from when I was a kid. And, you get into these situations where the fire
The
hydrants was
hydrants.
actually turned on so the water pressure would drop and we wouldn't have as much water coming in our homes. So we were like,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
what we gonna do? Instead of running to the store and buying waters and gallons of waters and having that on our house, we worked around. We have figured out ways to be like, okay, so we could go to so and so's house, a block or two away, because we was all a
Yep.
community, right? We come together and we figure it out. And it's like it's crazy that they think that black people wouldn't survive in those predicaments, but I'm like, oh, hun, I'm sorry to tell you, but we probably be the best ones to survive
I'm
because
telling
we've
you.
had shortages in life that things weren't afforded to us or situations where it wasn't available to us. So we know how to maneuver. We know how to move around and make things happen. So you be fooled. And so I started telling them some of the ways. So I'm curious, if we were trapped on the island, what are some of the top 10 things that you ladies would bring? Let's go. Who wants to go
Oh,
first? Let's go first. Who wants to go first?
yeah, you gotta go
Um,
there.
my 10 things I would bring, well, of course, food, I need that. So whatever, I would love to bring meat, but
Go
I
ahead.
mean non-perishable food, I would
Hmm.
bring that. And a lot of this depends on how long we're going to be stuck on this island. So I would bring
Right.
some seeds for gardening.
Oh, see.
I would bring a warm set of clothes because at nighttime it gets cool. In the daytime, if it's gonna be hot, I could run around there naked because I'm gonna be the only
Right.
one there.
Yeah,
Unless
yeah.
I bring company with me. Company could come with me. I'm gonna bring company with me. Some books so I don't get bored.
Okay.
Fire, lighter, matches. So it also is a survival kit that I have. It's a little survival kit that I have, and it has all that stuff in it, like the little warming blankets, shovels, knives,
Yep.
rakes, and things like that. I will bring that. It also has like a water filter in there,
Mm.
so I could have clean
Right,
water.
right.
Wow, look at you go,
A first
Kira.
aid kit,
I'm like, look at you go. That's amazing. Go ahead, girl.
a first aid kit, because I can't bring electronics. So, because I don't know if I'm stuck on the island, I have nowhere. Because trust me, I will bring. And
Right.
just in case if I can't get stuck with a man up there, I'm gonna bring my dildo. I hope my kids. I told my
What
daughter, do
is
not
happening here?
watch this
What is
episode.
happening here?
No, because like I'm a grown woman. I got 4 kids. I ain't no
Absolutely.
virgin. And I'm gonna need that. So I need that. And I'm gonna need some wine. I'm gonna bring teleport because it's gonna last longer because that right there.
You gonna be toe up, girl.
Exactly. So 2 glasses a night last me for a long time if I bring like 5 of those jugs.
I can't with you. I cannot.
Listen,
You
you know how
bringing
you live.
Manischewitz? You bringing Manischewitz jugs with you, those big jugs?
Yes, I'm bringing big jugs just in case because I'm gonna have a I'm gonna
Crazy.
I'm gonna make it a nice time out there. I
Right.
ain't
At
gonna
this
make it too
point,
miserable. Exactly. I can't be miserable out there because then it's gonna drive me crazy. So
Yeah.
a nice glass of wine or whatever.
Okay.
My little my little thing
Yeah,
because it's
yeah.
gonna be my thing. Like Wilson, I'm gonna have him
right.
and I'm gonna have a good and I'm gonna have a good
Wilson.
book at night.
I like that. I like the thoughts of that. That's amazing. Yeah, that sounds like a great 10 items. I gotta tell you, Kira, you on it. Um, yeah, that sounds really good. How about you, Jazz?
I don't know. I would bring a tarp or a tent. I would say a tent.
Percent.
Because the
Mm-hmm.
elements, it will rain, it will do all the other stuff. But if I couldn't bring a tarp, I would actually bring a tent. I mean, not a tarp, but if I couldn't bring a tent, I would bring a tarp just, to tie from tree to tree, to protect
Mm-hmm.
myself from the elements. So I would bring a blanket or some type of net, like a blanket, because it'll get cold or
Yep.
whatever. Or maybe lay on the ground under the tarp or in the tent. If I could, they never said we couldn't bring a raft.
Yes. Oh, a raft. That's a good one.
Maybe,
That's three. Okay. That's three things. Okay.
maybe a light. Maybe I don't know how dark it might get out there because some places it get pitch black.
Yes.
Maybe a
Mm-hmm.
light.
Very
Don't know
true.
what I need a light for, but I'm gonna need a light, some sort of light. Maybe on this island I can go look for other things on this island. I don't know what's out here.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I'll get bug spray because again, if you out
Bug
by this
spray.
water, yeah, I don't know bug spray. I would get a
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
knife,
Yeah.
a knife
Nice.
because again, I don't know what's out here. Do I need a knife to hunt, or do I need a knife to fish? What's out here, like to defend myself? Don't know. I
Mm.
would bring a lighter. They never said we couldn't bring a lighter to start a fire, maybe to keep
Lighter.
warm or whatever.
Yep.
Right. I would bring they never said we couldn't bring food, so I'll bring non-perishables.
Yep.
And there would be Doritos as well. Doritos, canned
Doritos
goods,
gotta
shit
be
like
there.
that.
Doritos gotta
Gotta
be
be.
there.
The barbecue
Gotta
ones or
have
the
a
purple.
snack.
Yes. They never said we couldn't bring actual water. Not
Oh,
to they
water.
said it's water out there, but we can't drink that water because it's salty. So actual
Okay.
wash.
Yep.
I
That's
gotta wash.
nine.
I don't
You had
know.
9 items. Go ahead. Yes.
See, then it's like, then maybe a wind up radio.
Okay.
So you
Wind
gotta
up
listen to
radio.
maybe
I
a
ain't think
forecast
about a
or
radio.
a wind up radio because my uncle Garrett said so he had one that blew me away. I was like, what is that thing? Because it was years ago this was years ago. I don't know if you remember, we had a brownout. This is from a
Yeah.
blackout. And he
Blackout.
had this radio. When I say he was a survivor. He had this radio that he would wind up. You could hear the
Yeah.
radio. I said, what is that? And it blew me away. It's like it's a radio. You can hear the regular radio, but you can hear everything else, but it was just he winded it up with no electricity. I was like, this man is
Wow.
smart. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's very,
Really
very, very
smart.
smart. So it was a
Really
Mm-hmm.
few
smart.
things. He said that was nine. Oof.
That's 10
Maybe
items actually.
is it? Now, and the other one, if it's bonuses, maybe a fishing rod. And like I
Yeah.
said,
Oh, you said knife. Yeah, you did say knife, a fishing rod though.
a
Yes,
fishing rod
definitely.
or wind up, yeah, all that, yeah, or rope or whatever. Yeah, so those are mine.
Okay, that's really good. I do want to
Hmm.
say, I've thought about this for a while because I was like,
Right.
what else would I bring? But I
Yeah.
gotta tell you guys, I live in the woods.
So
So
you gotta
a lot
know.
of it, I thought about it because I watch a lot of horror movies. And when I watch my horror movies, I'm like, girl, I wouldn't do this, I would have did that. Oh, how could you not be ready?
Mm-hmm.
Because blah, blah, blah. And I also grew up in a religion where they always told us that the world would come to an end, and Armageddon. So I
Right.
always thought of the survival skills. If I had to keep a backpack, what would it be filled with? Those things was
Hmm.
always embedded in my head from the youth. So it's kind of crazy that when I had that question posed to me, and then how black people went survive, I'm like, oh, we ready for a fight. Oh, I'm ready. I'll fight a bear if I have to, because they're more scared of
Right.
me than I am of them, especially brown bears. And
Mm-hmm.
just, if you appear bigger or scream louder,
Yep.
they'll
That helps.
run. And I'm like, I've
Yeah.
been in those situations where I'm like, I see a brown bear. I got to make myself appear bigger or
Bigger.
whatever,
Yeah.
and they'll, depending on what they going for, because sometimes it's trash. They will be like, okay, that's food. My survival is at risk. Depending on how hungry they are, they will stand there and look at you like, I might fight you for it. But
Right.
sometimes in
Right.
instances, they'll take off and just shoot because they're like, I don't know what this girl got a gun and whatever. So they just take off. I'm not
Right.
telling people to fight a bear. Please don't do that. But I
Don't.
will tell you, there's some things that I did write down. I said, I would want waterproof matches, a lighter, or a fire starter, because
Yep.
there's things that you could spark. And if you have
Mm-hmm.
dry, rubbery or bark or anything like that,
That's
dry
fire. Yep.
grass, any type of things like leaves or bark, that could spark it and actually ignite a fire. That's one thing.
Right.
A first aid kit would definitely be a plus. If I had some type of ointment or some type of peroxide, some type of medicine, I need some
Yeah.
type of medicine. I did say a multi-purpose knife, because a multi-purpose knife, I could do a corkscrew, I could do a knife, I could make
Mm-hmm.
something out of something, even a
Right.
bottle top opener, anything to help me, to if I stumble upon something, maybe that has been sealed.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like the Swiss Army.
Yeah, Swiss Army knife,
Yeah.
something.
Hmm.
I did say a mirror. So a mirror will reflect for somebody to see me or be like, oh, what's that
Yeah.
sparkly thing? I did put a mirror up there. I did say a whistle because it has a far pitch range. So a whistle
Oh,
probably
right,
would help me or somebody else
Hmm.
if they, survive, trying to survive. So if, I
Right.
have see
right.
a boat or something passing by, they hopefully be able to hear a whistle. I don't know why they would listen for it, but but I'm
I
thinking a
mean,
whistle of some sort to like try to, get their attention. A water purifier or water purification kit is something I'll
yeah.
do.
Hmm.
They have these iodine, like actual tablets where you can
Yep.
actually drop it into regular water and it would basically level it so that way it doesn't have, or be bad toxic to me. Um,
Hmm.
netting, sunscreen, or
Yep.
rope. I thought maybe, or wire or thread, something that I'd be able to like stitch something together or put something together if I'm
Yep.
injured or someone close, or maybe I could raft something, put together a raft, some twigs or something that I find
Right.
and be able to thread it together. I did think about that. It's so funny. We all had the same ideas, but just in a whole different mindset. So
Yeah.
we're
Uh-huh.
halfway there. We're surviving. I'm sorry, we're
Hmm.
surviving on this island. We're gonna be there for a minute
Absolutely.
too. Insect repellent, I thought of that too, Jazz. So you said insect repellent. I think we all three said insect repellent now. So that's amazing. We just definitely don't want no bug bites.
Yeah,
That's
different
what we
type of
Right,
do.
bugs. Like, uh-uh.
right.
Keep away
Especially
from us, bugs. We don't play with insects. We're like, no.
Mm-mm.
All the roaches in our life, we would never. Like, it's like, get
Right,
the hell back,
right.
right? Get the hell back. So I thought of this is so funny. You said it, Kara, layered clothing. I thought of layered clothing because I could always strip down, but when I get cold,
Right.
I am the worst when I'm
yeah.
cold. When I'm cold,
Yes.
everybody gonna catch these hands. So I thought about the coldness and I was like, you know what? I'd rather have piles of layers on, and then if I get hot, I
Hmm.
can strip it down
Go
during
take
the
it off.
yeah, or take it off, right? 100%. I can add on or
Hmm.
take off. So I think layered clothing is really important as well as comfortable footwear. Because us ladies, we do not have
Right,
comfortable footwear. But I'm like, our kicks, our sneakers, Nike ain't always the best option. But if I got me some
right.
kids on or something that actually can, turn into
Yeah.
a flip flop or actual movable sneaker for me, I could definitely do that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, I love flip flops. I got a lot of flip flops, guys. I don't know if I'd be able to survive out there with my flip flop unless I'm throwing it at something
Right.
and then like to deter it or scare it
Right.
away. Maybe that's it, or maybe swat at a bug. I don't
Right.
know. But comfortable footwear, I thought about. I did also think, which none of us said it, a compass or a map or a GPS device.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just because I want to follow
Oh,
what
yeah.
direction I'm going, if I'm going north
You
or
don't get
east, west,
lost.
Right.
south,
Yeah.
I don't want to get lost or know how to direct myself back to where I'm actually,
Came from here.
posted in my original landing. Like I want to be able to get back to it. And then I did say fishing gear or some type of knife or weaponry. I do want to have some type of
Right.
weaponry to protect
Yeah.
myself. I don't know what's on this island. It could be like, wild boar. It could be like, pig,
Yes.
something to that effect. I
Right.
do want to be able to like, protect myself from it. And then fishing gear. I did put fishing gear. Jazz mentioned fishing gear as well. I did think of water, non-perishable foods, some type of energy bars. I don't know why. I think energy bars are so much smaller. And because of my food consumption, I'd probably be like, oh, I can have 2 energy bars a day. One in the morning and one at night, and it probably fill me up on top of the water. I can only hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
No,
know.
that's yeah, that's good to think about.
Right?
Yeah.
I thought about
Yeah.
that. Then I thought of canned goods too, because we grew up on canned goods. Like I think
Right.
Yes.
now the era of organic foods have been like, what has, told us like, oh, we need the organic foods. But I'm like, that stuff probably would
Hmm.
rot and be able to like go away. But I'm
Oh
canned
no, it would.
goods,
It would.
maybe years, like you're like 10 years on the island together. We'd be like
Yeah.
prying that canned good open and still eating canned peaches. Like,
Oh, you know what we didn't say? A
what?
can opener. A can
Yeah.
opener.
Oh, a knife. We all
We
said
never
knife though.
said
Yes.
We
that.
never said a can
Right.
opener. That's right.
If you don't have a can opener, that's where your knife comes in handy.
Yeah.
I learned
Maybe
that.
that multi-purpose. Maybe that yeah, I know. We all learned that, right? You hit it and then you like
Right.
turn it around like, yeah, of
Right.
course. So
Right.
that you pop that top. That's exactly right. We grew up with that. So that's like common to us. And then dried fruits or nuts. Because nuts have so much protein in it. So I
Yeah, it
thought
Right.
does.
maybe nuts. You could get like just a can of nuts and just be sitting there popping those babies by the tubes. Hopefully hoping to survive. And then I thought of
Right.
water. Water is up there though. And then I thought of my man because I was like, you know what? I'm not building nothing. I'm not building no shelter. I'm gonna need some muscle to build
Right.
that structure or whatever I need to put together. Mine's gonna look real weak with some twigs and some tarp. You hear me, Jazz? I'm like, I thought he
Right.
would tarp. My structure, my survival, where I'm gonna be staying, like somebody just gonna be able to walk in and be like, yeah, that she live here. Yeah, that girl that walk around on the island, she live here. Let's get her and set me up. I'm not.
There she go.
Yeah, I need to be protected. So I definitely need either a man there to like actually,
Right.
build me a structure and like keep me protected. I would trip him so I could get away at least. I trip him and be like, take him first.
But you
He
know what
got
we
more
could have
meat
did
on
too? We
him.
could have said,
Uh-huh.
right. Then we could have said too, them like reflective, not reflective, but you know how they them orange like you know, got the orange vest that the truck drivers wear, something
Oh,
like that. Or
oh
maybe
yeah,
like
Oh,
with the
something like
respect.
that.
reflection on them. Yeah,
Put
yeah, with the
that on the one you
reflector.
could tie
Yes.
around a tree just in case you get out and you start walking, you could tie them to the tree so you can be able to get back. Like, okay, this was that.
Right.
Yeah, so this it's a lot. We
It's a
It's a
survived
lot.
though.
lot.
I did that. We would survive. Absolutely, we would
We
survive. I thought of
we
pen and
definitely
paper
will.
too. I thought of pen and paper. I
Yeah.
definitely want some pen and paper so I'd be able to track and be able to mentally check myself because I'm like,
Hmm.
sometimes being alone in a space, sometimes you're just
Right.
with your thoughts, you can start writing things down. I think of you said Wilson earlier. I thought of that movie
Right.
and I was like, he started talking out loud to himself because he's like, I need a
Right.
companion. I need a companion. And his companion, unfortunately, was that ball. And he named it
We'll
Wilson
say.
Right.
because that's the ball it was. But I'm like, it just all of that it plays into your mental stability. So in order to maintain your mental stability, you got to be able to say your thoughts out loud or be able to write it down and be able to go back to something. Because even when people are found, when they are like say survive a situation, car
Hmm.
crashes, plane crashes, abandonment, like there's a woman that was actually abandoned in a house and for like I think 30 days she ate like apples. And then like no lie, she was mentally unstable though, but she would write down every day like what she was doing. And it's crazy when they
Mm-hmm.
found
Yeah,
her
a journal
lifeless.
basically.
Yeah, when they found her lifeless, they was able to track to the day where she actually lost her mental and like, slipped away.
Right.
But I thought about that. I'm like, how would I maintain my mental stability? I would
Right.
definitely need that pen and paper to do that because you need to get out of your own head sometime. And
Yeah.
I thought,
Right.
like,
Right.
but it's great because we would survive. And then when it goes into weaponry, I do want to say I wanted to start taking archery and different like weapon classes so that way I'd be able to
Mm-hmm.
maneuver around something like pistol or arrow
Right.
arrow something to help further my survival
Right.
skills because I think about that. I'm like, how would we survive? And if I know that, do other people that's out there that's of minority descent, do we know how to survive
Mm.
out there in nature and in the woods? Because we don't go camping. Have you guys ever went camping?
No, that's not my thing. I'm not gonna go out there and be a victim of
Um.
nothing.
Yeah. I'm the same way. I'm not about to be
No,
nobody's
you're not gonna have
victim.
me out there. Nobody's doing nothing.
I never went camping because I always thought about first off, what's his name, Michael Myers.
That.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
just not
horror
Or
gonna.
movie.
maybe
You went straight for a horror movie in the
right, no.
woods?
Or maybe somebody up in the mountain somewhere feeling a little serial killerish this particular day, me and my family out there. And they felt like they
Exactly.
want to
So
barbecue some niggas. I'm good. I'm good on that. We got and we're going camping with some weaponry. Let you know that right now. We're going
Yeah.
camping with some
yep,
artillery. We coming,
Oh
yeah.
yep,
gosh.
Out there
That's
doing
exactly.
we ain't
So
out
crazy.
there doing nothing. Yeah.
and it's crazy because I never even sent my kids to camp because of that same reason. Because
Yeah,
before
Really?
no. Me either.
Crazy.
Because I've
I
seen
was
enough.
scared for them. If I couldn't be there with them, no, I was not letting them go with it. If I
But
wasn't in the next cabin and
yeah,
watching, sitting up with all night long watching, I. But then I fall asleep and then they're
right,
like, "Well, where
right,
was you?"
Where were you when I was
right.
getting mauled to death or
No,
dying
you
out
know what?
there, getting stabbed up?
Right.
That's
For
crazy.
real, I was
But you know
Unalive.
what?
I'm
tired.
sorry.
It was a movie like that. Not a movie. It was a real thing that actually happened. It was a bunch of, I don't say white kids. It might be, it was a black girl. She was involved too. It was like a bunch of kids. They went off to camp. It happened like in the, I say like the 70s. It really, really like the person, it was a documentary on. I'm not sure exactly what the name of it was, but whatever happened, the man wound up a killer. Wound up going to this particular cabin because they had different cabins, like a really like a sleepaway camp.
Mhm.
And they went to the
Uh-huh.
cabin I don't know who found him, if anybody found him or one of the little girls woke up, but this man he unalived one of the girls. But either way, the way it happened was, I think he wound up taking her actually out. I think he wound up unaliving one of the girls. They was little girls. They was like 9.
Oh, wow.
And then he wound up taking one of the other girls and unaliving her too, I believe. But then it was so sad because the parents, either they caught wind of it, because I think they want to call the parents, but the parents who pulled up for their kids, and their kids didn't survive. And I tell you, it was heartbreaking.
Oh, wow.
I was like, my God, but I'm gonna see if I can find it. I think it happened in the 70s. They were telling me it's like a documentary. And I was like, yeah, my kids ain't going to nobody. That was it for me. This was like a few years ago. I saw it. I was like, my kids are never going to nobody's camp. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So
I'm
it was
sorry.
so crazy. I watched another thing called Survivor Man. You guys ever heard of Survivor Man? It comes on Discovery.
Yeah.
And I
Oh,
love that
yeah.
show. I love it. Outside of the white man being a little handsome. You hear me a little
Right.
handsome, just a
Yeah.
little bit. But I watched that and I would watch him and I'd be like, okay, so he would teach you all these survival skills. And then he'd tell you how to take your own clothes and wrap it around your head to stop the sunburn. Because the hot
Done.
spot on your head, the sun is beaming down on the hot spot on your head. It
Yeah.
helps you it stops you from dehydration. It stops you, and even better,
Right.
if you, sorry to say this, urinate on your actual clothing and then wrap it around your head, it stops from the moisture and deep drying out and all of that. I
Oh.
know that sounds gross, but even if you drink your own urine, you have a better chance of actually surviving because you
Mhm.
think about it, and there's certain things that they teach you and show you. So I'm like, I always watch Survivor Man, and they always have this. They have this actual one on Netflix where it's interactive, so that way you can
Okay.
select it, and they be like, "No, you would not survive." And I'm like, "Ooh, ouch! I gotta try
Oh,
another
really?
method now." Yeah, it's really good.
I
So
never
I
seen that
think
one.
that's one of the great things about actually watching these survival shows and seeing what you could do to actually make shift or create something, and then what would work and
Right.
what wouldn't work. So I'm very happy that Joe chimed in at this moment because we were talking about the things that we would use to survive, and we picked our top 10 things. And we'd love to know, Joe, from you. So we know how to survive probably a lot more than other cultures. So I don't want to say, hey, sleep on us as a people. We definitely know
Right.
how to work around and make things. So I'm curious, Joe,
Right.
what would you actually use or have or bring with you if you were trapped on an island to survive?
All right. Well, first up, good evening, everyone. Hope everybody is well
Hey.
and all that good stuff.
Hello.
Yes.
But
Ah.
first up, it's about basic survival needs. So food, shelter. So
Two things,
on
right?
an island, yeah, surrounded by water. What do you want to bring? I want to be able to get what I can get from that water. So I'm bringing a fishing pole and fishing equipment.
Three items
All
Exactly.
right.
right there. Three things right there. Yeah.
I'm bringing a tent for shelter.
Or
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm bringing a fire starter. Okay,
Ah.
because you need fire.
Yeah.
All right. Fifth, I'm bringing a book on botany because on any island there's vegetation. I need to know what
Ooh.
vegetation I can consume and what
100%.
vegetation is good for medicinal purposes and what vegetation is good. It's poisonous that I can't even touch.
Right.
I'm bringing that.
Are you
I'm
on
bringing a
6?
book.
Go
I
ahead.
think, yeah, I'm on 6. I'm bringing a book
Yeah.
on marine life because, again, everything in the ocean you can't eat. So I need to
I
know
was
what I
going.
can consume
Yeah.
and what I can't.
I'm
Mhm.
gonna just
All
put
right.
books under one category, but that's a great way to outline every single
Yeah.
type of thing that you need
Mhm.
to bring with you. But books is definitely categorized. What else?
And I'm bringing a sharp edged tool, either an axe, hatchet, or a knife. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because again, if I'm on that island, okay, fine, I can eat what I can from the water. But if I got animals running around, I need something I can hunt and process and consume.
Okay,
Mhm.
Okay.
definitely.
Yeah. And let's see, what is that?
You
7,
on
8?
number 7? You on
I'm
7?
on
Yep. So
7.
number 8 was number 8.
Oh, I got 3 things left.
You got 3 things left. Yeah.
And I think outside, see, number 8, what I would bring is you always need something to bind, like some kind of wire or rope or something like that.
Yeah.
Because outside of your own shelter, you may need to build other things. You
Yeah.
might want to build a raft to go, circumvent other sides of the island. So I would bring something like that. That's 8. And 9, I think, what would I bring as number 9? Because when I thought about this, like those are the first things that came to mind.
Yep,
You know what I
absolutely.
mean? I need to eat, I need to be warm, I need to be sheltered, and I need to know
Yeah.
what's good.
Right.
But quite after that, honestly,
You
and
got
there
2
was
more
nothing else I
left. You
could come
got
up
2
with. I
left. You
know I
got
got 2 more
2.
left. let's see, what else? What else would I bring? What else would I bring?
We said
I
first
don't know.
aid kit. We thought a first aid
Oh,
kit.
that's good. First aid, definitely. You need first
Yeah.
aid kit. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is true. Those are things you do need. And I think the last thing I would probably bring, hmm, that's good. I don't know. Yeah, you got to come back to me.
I do have a
I don't know.
question. Nope, I have a question. I'm gonna add it. So, would you bring your missus?
Oh, see?
Would you bring
Oh,
your
that's
mate
good.
to be like, I need companionship, right? So I thought companionship would be like the number one response from everybody because you just don't want to be trapped on an island with nobody. You need somebody else that's going to get on your nerve just as much as equally as you're going to get on your
Well,
Right.
nerves
see,
while you're out there on that island, right?
okay. See, I didn't know that was an option, but okay, yeah, that I
Yeah,
would
why
definitely
not?
bring.
I'm gonna bring
Okay,
them
all
with
right.
me. We're gonna be suffering
Yeah,
together.
Right.
well, I'll bring her. I'll bring her.
You
All
bringing her?
right, woman. Yeah, I'll bring her. Like,
She
look,
gonna be
you got to
fussing
be
the
out here.
whole way because I know I will be.
Oh my God, the whole time. And it's so funny. I like outdoor stuff. I like to fish. I like to go hunting. I like to
Mm,
go camping.
that's plus.
So I've done those things with her. And yeah, it was a lot of fussing. Yeah. So man,
Yeah.
you know what I'm in for.
That's what I was gonna say.
I
Layers of
know what
clothes.
I'm in for.
We also mentioned comfortable footwear because you're gonna be walking for a while. You don't want to be in sandals, flip
Definitely.
flops, things where you
Definitely.
feel like you're not as protected. We did say waterproof matches and lighters, fire starter. We did say that
Hmm.
fire starter. You said a fire starter. First aid kit, medication, something like peroxide or some type of ointment, A&D ointment, whatever ointments.
Right.
Multi-purpose
Yeah.
knife. We did say mirrors, a whistle, water purification
Okay.
kit.
Oh, that's a good one. But see, with
Yeah.
that, yeah, like that's good. Good, but my thing was, all right, if you can find a freshwater source, you can always boil water. But water
Oh,
purification is
true.
good though.
Yeah.
Water
Yeah.
purification is good. Yeah.
Yep. We did say netting, sunscreen, ropes, or wire thread. You did say those things.
Mm-hmm.
We did
Ooh,
said dry
sunscreen.
grass or leaves or bark, because how else would you spark your fire? It's just gonna be on sand. That ain't gonna help you at all. You need it to be dried out too. You need it to be dried out because if it's something that's like wet bark, is a wrap. You're not gonna ever get that
Right.
Mm-hmm.
spark a fire.
Yeah.
Um, insect repellent, because we girls, we went straight for the things that's like diva mode or whatever.
I
Right. And
know.
that
Now,
bite me.
insect repellent, I don't want nothing biting me. Okay, I don't want nothing biting me. I might fight. Um, we
That's
did
fair.
say layered clothing. So layered clothing, we could take it off if it gets too hot. We could put it back on if it gets too cold. So that's another like element conditions. We would definitely have that plays a part. We did say compass, map, and GPS device, like all that in one category.
That's good.
Because when you
That's
leave
good.
your space, you want to be able to get back to it. How do you know if you're going east, west, south, north? There's no not sky out or night out, so you can't follow the stars to it. So that's a whole nother
Mm.
thing.
Well, see,
Then
what's
we
funny
did.
about that with the
Uh-huh.
compass, I see the reason why I didn't say that because when I was a kid, yeah, I was a Cub Scout, so I learned how to build a compass. So,
Yeah, there you go.
Boy,
Okay. All
I
right,
know how
there
to
you
build
go.
one. Oh,
That's a good. That's a good
yeah.
thing to
Fun
know.
out here.
sometimes.
I'll be just
Uh,
lost.
yep. I
And
was
then we
like,
did
what this
say
is? Yeah.
fishing
Mhm.
gear, water, non-perishable foods, energy bars I threw out there, and then canned goods because we loved canned goods back when we were growing up. Everything was a canned
Hmm.
good.
Of course.
Now today everything's organic, and you go to the produce section. But our parents wasn't hearing that. They needed those peas to last 90 days. So
Right.
Listen, the
it
can
was in the
cancel was
cabinet.
a
That's
friend
what
to
we ate.
all of us.
Wasn't
Right.
it?
We all remember the can cancels, and we
I
still
love
do.
Hmm.
yes, can cells,
Yeah.
absolutely. We did also say dry fruit or nuts because that gives you good
Mhm.
protein source. And then water. Water is mentioned again. And then I said pen and paper because you got to be able to write your thoughts down. You don't be trapped in your own head. So we did say pen and paper as well.
That's true.
So that, and then I was talking about Survival Man, and I was talking about those television shows where it shows us what you need to do to survive. So those are another important component where you're like, okay, what else can we do? And I said, watching those shows is very helpful because it takes you out of your
It is.
outside living conditions. If you haven't been camping or you haven't done like, hikes or things like that, you got to know exactly what to do. And then I was also
Right.
stating how, when you are confronted by certain animals, even if it's a cougar or what is it, bobcats, because depending on where you live,
Yeah.
or a bear, because I'm in, the where I live is out in the woods and everything. So like even a bear is threatened if you make louder noises, as well as the bobcats. If you
Hmm.
appear bigger and don't turn your back to it, it won't attack you as long as it knows that you're the threat. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're
Right.
easily
Yep.
manipulated to believe like, oh, this thing might be bigger than me. That's a problem. I open my sliding door plenty of times and be like, hey, get off my deck. Like, because the bears may be rummaging through my garbage and I
Mm.
can hear them in my house.
Hmm.
But as soon as I open that
Hmm.
sliding door and they see me, they're like, oh, she coming. And they jet off like
Right.
that kid
Right.
caught, doing something bad. It's kind of crazy, but I'm not telling people to go fight a bear. But I'm
Yeah, no,
saying like
don't
it
do
could be
that.
easily threatened by you opposed to you being threatened by it constantly. So like those are great things to know. So just makes yourself appear bigger and scream at it, and and they'll basically
Mhm.
run off. And I'm not saying
Mhm.
confront it and jump in front of it. You don't want to do that. That would be foolish.
Right.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
foolish.
Nobody trying to fight
Um,
a bear.
yeah, don't fight a bear. Please don't fight a bear, people. But I'm
Oh,
like, would we survive? I think we would. I think
Yeah,
we definitely
I
would
absolutely.
think
survive.
we definitely would.
Yeah, I'm like,
absolutely.
I've been hiking. I'm not a camper, but I have been hiking. I went camping maybe twice. Like your wife, I complain 90% of the time because I want to know why we have to
Hmm.
be there. And why am I
Hmm.
eating beans every day and there's no bathroom?
Like
Why?
what?
Why are we doing this nonsense?
Yeah.
I'm like, this is
Yeah.
setting me up for a bad situation. I'm not going to engage this any further. But
Right.
but given the
Yeah.
conditions and the element, I did go sleep in a car the second day because I was like, I can't do this tent life. It's just not for
Unbelievable.
me. I'm just
Really?
gonna go sleep in a car. Absolutely. That
That's
ground
me.
was hard and it was cold and I
Yeah.
didn't like it. And I was like, and there's a rock underneath me. And they're like, how you know it's a rock? And I'm like, mind your business. I'm gonna go sleep in a car. At least the
Right.
back seat is more
Okay.
comfortable. So I'm like, there's certain things, but it's just divaness, to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to
Right.
if I don't have to.
Yeah.
But I think I definitely would be able to be in the outside elements and shown proof, like, this is shown proof. We knew exactly the things to bring with us. Not that we necessarily have it on us at the moment,
Right.
but at least if we
Right.
were prepared, we
Yeah.
know these are the things to bring with us because we
Yeah.
Yeah.
look like we know our stuff. There you go. So in your face to the people that didn't believe that we would be able to survive in those rough conditions, because we
Right.
showed you right there, right, Kara, in your face.
That
Absolutely.
we can survive.
Yeah.
Oh
And
my God.
survival instinct kicks in, when you least expect it.
Yeah.
Right.
Like people think, oh, I
Absolutely.
would die.
Yes.
I would probably die. No, but survival instinct is a real thing.
Hmm.
Right.
Right.
It's a real thing. And I go back to like again, you remember like the movie, what was with Tom Hanks. Oh my God, what was
Yeah.
the
Oh,
movie?
we were talking about
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So when you
Castaway.
look at it, okay, yeah, Castaway.
Castaway.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
it was a movie and it was Hollywood, it was fluff, but when you think about it, the way he went about things, you know what I mean? I mean, think about it. He was like, okay, I got a rotten tooth. I got to get it out before it infects me, my whole body.
Mm.
He made the hard decision. What did he do? He bashed it
Ooh,
out
Yep.
and he figured out, okay,
I
now I got
remember.
to learn how to get food. What do I got to do? Okay, so things kick in.
Yes, they do. Yes, they
Even
do.
when his far started pulling bodies out the water just so he can get their clothes and shoes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Think about it.
Absolutely.
Normally, you're not trying to go touch no dead body to get anything off of
Heck
it.
no.
But when you got to live, he said, all right,
Mm-hmm.
listen, this dude is maggoted out. He's gray. He's dead, but I need them shoes,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So that instinct, it kicks in,
Yes.
and I think in any situation, it would for everybody,
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Survival instinct is a real thing.
Yeah. When
A
you
very
face
real
with death,
thing.
you got like I gotta live.
Right.
Oh yeah,
Exactly. I wanted
you definitely choose life first.
Yes.
right. I went into survival mode when we had Sandy.
Oh my
Oh,
I had
God.
just I
Please.
had just started driving, just got my license and everything. We went through Sandy,
Goodness.
and after everything cleared up, I'm like, you know what? I started putting blankets, changing clothes,
mm.
Yep.
little snacks, water bottles. I made sure
Mm.
I had a car battery in there,
Yeah.
the lighter, matches, all the things that we said. I made sure I had it in the trunk. So if I'm riding and something just happens to happen unexpectedly, and I have
Mm-hmm.
my kids with me or anything, we could go in the trunk and we could eat or until we saved or whatever the case might be. So
Yeah.
we definitely could survive. And like you said, your survival instincts kick right on in instantly.
Yeah.
Yes. So I do want to
That's the
say that
perfect
that was a great
scenario. Yeah.
reference there, Kara, because when Sandy in those instances where life, you know what I mean? Nature takes over.
Right.
Like you can't change those elements and those conditions. So what
Mm-hmm.
happens when you're in a snowstorm or ice storm and you're not really ready? In
Right.
the 80s and 90s, I think they prepped us so well for that because there was commercials that say, what do you need to keep in the back of your trunk in order for you to survive? And back
Right.
then they
Yeah.
wasn't bothered by water, so it was always a case of water or a gallon of
Yeah.
water. It was always a
Right.
blanket.
Mhm.
It was always jumper cables. It was always a first aid kit. Those were the things they taught us
Yeah.
back then. And if you didn't have rum and
Right.
alcohol, they would say use actual vodka because that
Vodka.
still
Yeah.
had,
Mhm.
enough in it to actually sanitize an actual surface. So it's crazy. The things we learned back then, we still stand
Right.
true to today. I haven't seen anything different because even during COVID, they were saying, hey, don't go open your tequila bottle and pour it on it. But that was one of the things that they said you could use to actually sanitize if you didn't have hand
Hand
sanitizer and certain
Mhm.
sanitizer.
things. I'm like, I don't know if I could be left alone with tequila and not want to drink, but there you go. We was
Right.
dealing with a lot of
Yeah,
conditions back
yeah.
then. So I'm like,
Tequila
out of
might
the
have
stress,
an
I'm
Right.
gonna take a
issue.
shot for, the tequila, and then I'm gonna take a shot for my hands because I need to wash everything off down or wash everything off and
Right.
sanitize. But it's different, when you see that these things are true and held to life and it's still,
Yeah.
the same things that work today is crazy. But yeah, I think we will
Mhm.
survive. I think we do an excellent job at surviving. What do you guys think?
Absolutely.
I
No, I
think so.
know we would.
Listen, when Kira said
We
something about Sandy, that really was like, yeah, because I remember again growing up in the 80s and 90s.
Mm-hmm.
I remember sometimes we had a lights in our house.
Yeah.
I always
Mhm.
was told keep candles. I had so many when we had
And
Sandy.
handles.
It's one thing I did not when the power went out. I was
Yes.
good. We didn't have to have no
Yeah.
TV. But let me tell you something. I had candles, and I had more. I keep
Mhm.
the all other candles, the regular candles, like for your house if something happened, and then the ones that the fragrance. I have so many candles here just in case. Maybe that's where that came from too. I just keep candles
Mhm.
around regardless, whether it be for survival or just have for the house to smell good. But they come in
Right.
handy. Them candles came in
Yep.
real handy.
I do want to add
Absolutely.
something to the list because we didn't even
What?
mention this. But I gotta tell you, cards or a board game, whoo, you
Yeah.
put some
Yeah. And I
Monopoly
thought
out there,
about
we be
that.
playing for 6 months and don't even know it. Like
No, you know
Yeah,
what's gonna happen?
yeah.
What's gonna happen? We get some cards out there. We're gonna start fighting because Uno and spades will bring out the ugly in us. We start fighting like, hold up now. Somebody got you about to go through this water. You about to go in this water right now.
Uno and
You forget
spades,
you're on an
right?
island. It's like, nah, forget that.
Like,
Yeah.
Right.
no,
Oh
I
my
never
for real.
forget.
God.
You
Somebody will
can
get
have a
hurt.
Monopoly board. You can have a
Not
Monopoly
Uno.
board set up and be like, okay, we're gonna play for the next 6 months. And this is how we will gauge day to day. Because every day that
Right.
it turn the morning, we be moving pieces on the board. And when we're done
Like
with
moving a
that,
piece a
we go to
day.
the next day. Yeah, we'll put it down, but the board stays the same.
Mhm.
That's crazy, right? That was
Mhm.
the
Right.
Well, a
whole
game of
that was the
Monopoly
whole
take about
household in
6 months
the 80s.
anyway. Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Oh
Right.
my God. Monopoly take forever.
Yeah, game
Yes,
of Monopoly take about 6 months anyway. So yeah, no,
absolutely.
that would definitely kill
Crazy.
some time.
Unless you land
Oh
on the
my God.
taxes and then you like screwed. So I'm like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
and don't let
There's
nobody
that.
own Boardwalk or Park Place, because that Park Avenue, because
Those
those are
my
the
two
two
favorite.
that will take you down in a heartbeat. Then as soon as you land on those two, you like,
Yes.
I'm filing for bankruptcy. I'm over it. Like,
Yep.
Right.
that's when you just out of the game. I tap out.
Hmm.
So those are
Oh
the
my
things
God.
that, I think we fare well. I think we do very well.
Yeah.
So I gotta tell you, that was an amazing segment because I was trying to figure out like how would survival go. We talked for a good 40 minutes on how we would survive. I think we do very well. And I think
Yeah.
all of us
Yeah.
would make it off that island. I don't swim. Any of you guys know how to swim?
No.
Yeah.
You
Look
can
at you.
swim, Joe?
Look at the Cub
Oh,
Scout.
Kara, you could
Look at
just
Kara. Look at Kara.
Yeah.
woo. All
Wait.
right,
What?
me and Jazz is definitely sinking, but the two of
I
you
mean,
guys are
I
swimming.
could swim
Yes. Why
underwater.
are
I
you
haven't done
not
it in a long.
swimming?
No,
My
see, no, 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 no,
hair.
no. See,
You hear
hear
me?
me out.
Not my
'Cause,
hair. Like,
back in the day, that's the one too. But back in the day, when we went to 8th Avenue Pool, we got thrown it, so we had to figure it out. Like they threw us in that water, we had to get in there. Like I hated it. So this little girl, I never forget, she was 10 years old. She's like, I can't swim. We had to be like 13 or 14. We was like, no, and she told us how to swim underwater. So I know how far I can get underwater. Overwater, I'm good as gone. So yeah.
No, you
Mhm.
got. I'm gonna tell you guys a funny story. So
mhm,
my wife and I got married in 2003,
mhm,
and we went on a cruise for our honeymoon. And we went to like Saint Martin, Martin, Saint Thomas, and when we
Or
got
the
to
seven,
Saint
is it the
Thomas,
Seven Island one or the Five Island one? We
yeah, the
went to
Seven
St.
Island,
Thomas. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
right. So from St. Thomas, we took a speedboat over to Saint John. St. John has this spot. It's called Trunks Bay. It's one of the most beautiful places for snorkeling in the world. I mean,
Mm.
you can get into water up to your neck and you can still see your feet. That's how clear the water is.
Oh, that sounds
And
beautiful.
when you
Mm-hmm.
talk about like the marine life down there, the coral, like you put your face in, you will see schools of beautiful clownfish floating past.
Mm.
So I'm like, yeah, we're gonna do this. So we get there, and I was swimming. I've been swimming since I was like 7, but my wife couldn't swim at the time.
Mhm.
So I'm like, listen, snorkeling, you really don't have to know how to swim. You really don't,
Right.
Right.
because you get
Right.
flippers and you get the face piece and you go. So we go out there, we set up, and I'm like, trust me, you get in the water, sit down, put your flippers on, and when you get up to around like knee high, just lay out flat and kick your feet, and you're gone, right? So we go, get out about knee high, and I'm like, all right, let's go. Boom. So I go, I lay out, and I start kicking, and I'm going, and I'm looking back, and I'm like, where's this woman? She's back there knee high in water, flapping around like a fish on a deck somewhere. I'm drowning.
That would
I'm
be
drowning.
me too.
I said, what the heck? And I'm looked back. She was like, I'm drowning. I said, woman, stand up. And she, and she was in knee high water. And so after that, she took the flippers off, took that, just threw everything. Was like, I'm not doing this. I'm done. I'm going to sit on the beach. So I'm like, well, I'm going snorkeling, but I'm like, you know what? If I do go out there, I'll look bad.
Right.
So of course I had to go back and sit on the beach with her, and I was like, you know what? When we get home, you taking swimming lessons.
That's
Oh,
it.
That's it.
wow.
That's that. So when we got home, sure enough, we went to Columbia High School in South
Yep.
Orange
Yep.
Mm.
or Maplewood,
Yep.
whatever it is. They
Yep.
used to
Yeah.
have adult classes at night, like swimming, martial arts, and all of
Yes.
that. I said, you're signing up. After the first night, she was like a fish.
Mm.
Really?
Yep.
Because I
After the
heard once they
first
teach you
float.
how to float, you can swim. But I'm so nervous about water and bodies of water. I'm like, the
Right.
bath is all I know. Okay, a bath and a
Right.
hot tub. That's all I can do. And if I can
See,
stand up in it, I'm good.
yeah. See, the one thing people don't realize is that your body is naturally buoyant.
No.
Mm.
So, like when I first learned how to swim, the first thing he taught us was a dead man float. Because
Yeah.
what does a dead body in the water always do?
It's
Float.
gonna float.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
The first thing they taught us was like put your arms and legs out and just lay there. And we're all
Mm-hmm.
like, no, hell no, I'm not drowning.
Right.
So he's like, no, you're gonna do it. Hold your breath and do it. And sure enough, when we did that, our bodies went down about 2-3 inches. But then guess what? You floated.
Mm.
Yeah.
Once we got past the fact that holy crap, we can just float. We can just lay here like this and float. And that's when you start learning the best breaststroke, butterfly. And once you get past the fact that your body, you won't go under. Your body will
Mm.
float. And that's what it
Mm-hmm.
was. And once we got past that, man, I was doing breaststroke, butterfly. I learned the backstrokes, and then you got to learn how to tread water. That's another thing. Once you
Yeah.
learn those two
Mm.
things, floating, and listen, you learn to tread water literally in like 30 seconds. We learned how to tread water in 30 seconds. They threw us in 8 feet of water, and they was like, this is how you tread. Either you're going to come to the top or you start floating.
Mm.
So, we got tired of getting there and having to lay out and float. We was like, nah, we want to tread. So, and guess what? We figured out treading water.
How old
Mm.
were you again?
I was like 7,
So that's
8 years
before
old.
you had trust issues, abandonment issues, drowning
Right.
issues.
Right.
I'm an adult, so me immediately my mind goes to no, they're gonna leave me here in this water, and I'm gonna be one of those stories on CNN trying to figure out why,
Right.
or 2020
Right.
why she had got left
I don't
behind
trust him. Why
in
she
that
didn't get
water,
back
and I don't
easily?
trust the water either. So I'm like, nah, this water's 5 foot, it's taller
Yeah.
than me, I can't do it. And I
Right.
feel like no, I can't do it. I don't trust it. I don't trust the bodies of water. Even
Trust
when I'm
me.
on a cruise.
You
So
can
it's
do
so
it.
funny. I went on a cruise very much like your wife, and they were like, okay, the ocean. Soon as it hit like 6 o'clock, pitch black. You can't
Nope.
see nothing out there. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm back in my cabin or somewhere where it's enclosed. And to get back to my room, I'm holding on to the side of the wall the whole time because I'm like, ain't nobody gonna go overboard today, not me. And if I
Are
do,
you
somebody
Right.
serious?
going in there with me. I'm serious. I'm like holding on to the railing all the way back to
Oh
my
my
cabin
God.
because I'm like, it ain't happening, not on my watch. I'm
Mm.
so not trusting when it comes to certain things. I'm just like, nope. And then I went on one cruise one
Mhm.
time just to say that I experienced it.
Mhm.
That was enough for me. I'm like, okay. Somebody said, oh, we're gonna do a girls trip and we're going on a cruise. I'm like, y'all have a great time. They're like,
Oh
no,
my
we're gonna
God.
Right.
fly to Florida. Like I said, have a great
Have
time.
a good
But you
time.
know,
But see, even what's funny about that, even with a cruise, it's like, all right, if you're out in the middle of the ocean, listen, no matter how well you can swim, you ain't
yeah,
got nowhere to swim to. So it doesn't
yeah,
really
Right.
help. But just like not having that, because like I said, you were out like at night, it was pitch black. What's so funny is every night when we come back to our cabin, I would go sit out on the balcony, and like a couple nights I fell asleep out there. It was so peaceful.
absolutely not.
No. No.
Mm.
Yeah, I
No.
would literally
No.
sit out there and I was just looking at that pitch black ocean, and it
It
was just like so
terrified me.
calming.
It
Yes. Like,
terrified.
what's
I
out
don't know
there?
what's out there. It terrified me because I'm
Oh
like,
my
it's too black,
God.
it's too silent,
Yeah.
and all you hear is the water. And immediately,
Yes, that's
yeah,
what I
by hearing
love.
it, I'm like, I could feel it by hearing it, and I'm like, oh no, I'm
Nah.
sick,
Now
sick
you
as a
know what I'm
dog. Back in
thinking?
my cabin, I go.
You know, you know what I'm
Oh, I
thinking?
love
The
that.
Titanic went down that night. I'm good. I don't need that. Nope. Nope.
Absolutely.
Nope. Uh-uh.
I
You
think of
won't
that
have me.
Italian
Right.
cruise line that
Nope.
went on the side. I can't do it. I'm like, nope, abandonment
Oh
Yep.
immediately.
yeah. Oh
I'm
yeah. Nah.
terrified. Nope. I'm like, they're gonna let something hit this thing, then it's gonna float, it's gonna turn on its side, it's gonna capsule out. Nope,
Hmm.
I'm out.
Yeah,
Like
that's me.
immediately. And that, no lie, I was young when I did my first cruise. I had to be like 22 or something like that. I
Hmm.
wasn't, I was married, but I was the person I went with my, ex. We was on that cruise together, like, oh, we together, like this is the bar, everything. Like you would think we
Sure.
were honeymooners, but it was the funniest thing because I was like, I'm telling you right now, if you'll get me back to my cabin, I told my sister to have you investigated first. Like I'm
Yeah, because you hear the crazy stories like, oh, she fell overboard.
Yes,
No,
I'm
Yeah.
he
like,
pushed me.
they have
Hmm.
He
they have
pushed
a
me.
whole episode. They have a whole show on
Mm-mm.
cruise liners
Yeah.
that people went
Cruise
missing
death.
and killed. And I'm like,
Yep.
oh no,
Yeah.
Yep.
you never know
I'm
anyone
good.
else's intentions. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
that's sad to say, but maybe we wouldn't survive on that cruise liner ship now that I think about it. But I
Yeah.
definitely would survive if I was on a on a land and be able to be okay.
On land.
Knock on
Right.
wood, I'm never given that situation, but there you go. We definitely could survive. So I do want to say thank you so much for joining us. We would love to know exactly what you would do or what the 10 items you would bring to survive out there in the woods or the wilderness. Please let us know in the comments. We would love to hear from you guys. Thank you so much for joining the Grown Up Group. Again, I'm here with Joe, Kira, Jazz, and again, I'm Ty. And we see you guys. Have a good one.
Bye.